Hey there, everybody. Welcome into this Friday edition of ESPN FC's Extra Time. Shaka Hislop, Sebastian Salazar, Stewart, Robson, Ian Darke. Shame we had to get rid of Don Hutchison. Shaka, he just wouldn't stop complaining about your power rankings.
Well, that's a good excuse as any to get rid of Don.
First question for Ian. Ian, can you consider saying, "Hey there, everybody," as your opening line when you call your next match? When is that next match?
For what reason would I be doing that?
Oh, because you want to be more like me.
I'll do it now if it pleases everybody. Hey there, everybody.
Dare I say, he did it better than I did. He added that Ian Darke gravitas that so lacks from my, what I'm told is a childish voice.
We're all going crazy. I know it now.
Yep. Shaka, do you think David de Gea is already past his best, although he's only 30?
I don't think he'll get back to being as good as he was for Manchester United.
He's not going to be like world elite anymore, you're saying?
Correct. At one point, I felt David de Gea was maybe not the best goalkeeper in the world, just behind Manuel Neuer. I don't think he gets anywhere close to that kind of a claim again.
It's strange, right? Because it's not like a physical thing with him. It seems more like his...
Well, about a year after that Real Madrid move fell through, it just kind of came off the rails, and he's never really... He's improved, he got better, but not back to where he was before things just kind of started coming apart.
Ian, what do you make of the young talents that the United States has coming through? Do you think we're going to be having another go-go USA moment in the future?
Well, let's hope so, because there's been 2 or 3 years of doldrums, and it's good to see that it goes in cycles, and there is an exciting new generation of players coming through now, and it will be very interesting to see how they go in the World Cup qualifiers and hopefully at the World Cup itself. So I'm hopeful that the tide has turned.
You know what's the most exciting thing about these young players coming through? With the US hosting the 2026 World Cup, talk will inevitably turn to, can the US win it?
Yep.
And I guarantee Craig will self-combust.
I hope he does it on Football America. We're going to bring him on.
Craig's reaction to all of that will be absolutely classic. It will be 4 years of don't miss TV.
Yeah, Burley's boiling points.
Oh, goodness, that'd be so
show.
good. That'd be so good.
Robbo, who's your favorite to win Hammer of the Year this year?
Hammer of the Year. I would go with, at the moment, Souček. I think he's been outstanding for them. He's come in, he's scored goals, he's been good in midfield defensively. He's not a flashy player, but he's effective. Him and Rice have been excellent in midfield. So I would go with Souček. He's been outstanding most weeks.
Shaka, you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Lingard's coming in January has been outstanding, but ultimately it's half a season. Souček has been outstanding all season long. He wins it for me.
All right, Ian.
And Declan Rice.
It's a good shout, Ian.
Fantastic.
Do you think football would be okay without the offside rule? Ian, of course, we heard this suggested by Marco van Basten this week.
No, I think it's a crazy idea. The answer in one word is no, it's not a good idea.
What do you think, Robbo?
Well, in hockey, field hockey, which I'll just remind you, they said it would be a mad idea in field hockey to get rid of offside. And hockey has been a much better game because there is no offside. And I know a lot of hockey umpires that said it took all the sort of silly rules out of it. Players don't goal hang; they still go back into good positions. The defenders defend normally. It didn't ruin the game at all. In fact, it made it better. So I could see why you would take the offside law out.
Okay, Stewart Robson joining the chorus along with Marco van Basten. Shaka, as a goalie, right?
I'll be honest. On the one hand, I don't necessarily want to agree with anything that Marco van Basten says for reasons of having shared an IFB panel with him. That being said, I can see it making sense, but at the same time, I don't think IFAB goes for that at all. It's just too far departure from the traditional rules in the game.
What happened in that panel, Shaka?
Marco van Basten was the FIFA representative.
Okay.
And how... You know, when you're at the end of a Zoom meeting, there's always somebody who has 3 or 4 questions to ask.
Yeah, there's also that kid in school that just like,
who always has to put his hand up and ask those questions when everybody's ready to go home. That's Marco van Basten.
See, typical Shaka. All he wants to be is lazy. He doesn't want to do the hard work. You should have stayed there and answered these questions.
That's
Shaka.
right.
No,
just want to go home.
If they were viable questions, I have no problem with it.
Oh. Marco van Basten, what's he ever done? Robbo, what changes does Serie A need to make to begin competing with other leagues in Europe again?
First of all, they need to make sure they produce better players at a young age. I've done a lot of under-17s, under-19 tournaments, under-20 tournaments, and at the moment, Italy aren't producing good enough players that are going to come into the team and be top-class players. The national side is doing OK at the moment. I think they've been very consistent. But when I look at the young players coming through at clubs, Bastoni's done well at Inter. Locatelli, who was a star at Milan, is now in the national team, but had to go away from Milan to Sassuolo. They're not producing good enough players. Until they do that, the Serie A league will be just below one or two of the others.
Ian, a commentary question here. Do you prefer to comment up in the press box, or would you like it more like the NBA and be pitch level? You couldn't really call a game from pitch level, could you?
No, although I had to this season during the pandemic. I did an FA Cup tie at Stockport, used to be in the Football League, they're now a non-league team, playing West Ham, in fact, and they said, you're going to have to commentate from here, and we were probably about 6 inches above pitch level, so that wasn't easy, in pouring rain, mud everywhere, not particularly good floodlights, but I think we just about got away with it, but I'm not quite sure how.
Sebi, let me tell you, Ian Darke could commentate on a football game if he was behind the goal. He'd commentate on anything. Don't you worry about that, and do it well.
Don't give them ideas.
We saw some of the COVID-19, the pandemic shutdown commentary from right in his own backyard as well. All right, we'll leave it there for this edition of Extra Time. Thanks to Robbo, thanks to Ian, thanks to Shaka, and thanks to you for sending in the questions. The boys will be back tomorrow with yet another edition of ESPN FC. Enjoy.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.